Welcome to this episode of Team Chat Podcast, episode 289, Mogan. We are a mere, after this one, 10, 11 episodes away. Math's hard for me, but 10 episods away from episode 300.
That's too many.
It's bonkers. I keep seeing the number.
300 will be the end, everybody. That's where we're going to call it. No, of course not. There's still many games coming out for the rest of this year.
Many games to talk about, but watch. We will actually wind up canceling it on episode 300.
I mean, I'm going to need at least those 10 episodes just to get enough time into Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom to be able to have a review on it.
But what should we do, though?
Oh, God, I don't know.
We got to think about it.
We do need to think about it.
Because, I mean, that's kind of a big deal. 100 episodes was huge. 200, we were like, wow, I guess we're getting good at this thing.
To be fair, I don't remember what we did for episode 200.
I feel like we just did a big stream one day.
Oh, maybe
I feel like
we
did
did.
like
That
a
sounds about right.
6-ish hour stream or something like that. I feel like we played some Mario Party maybe.
Would that have been during the pandemic or was it right before that? Because maybe we were still live at that point.
We were here because we did it. I remember we did it right here.
Okay. Must
but
not
I
have been
feel
the
like it might have
pandemic
been like right after we felt like we could get back together.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
sense.
it wasn't too, or either it was right before. One of the two. It might have been honestly right before.
I feel like it was right before, based on the timing and how many episodes we tend to put out per year.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but man, big things coming down the pipe.
Well, we'll
It's
have
really
to think
cool.
of something.
I know, we will. Send us your suggestions, everyone.
Yeah, send us your suggestions. I've been thinking that with this length of hair, I could probably pull off a pretty okay Claire Redfield No, Alice. What? I think her name is Alice Cooper. No, that's the singer.
That's the
singer. Maybe it is Claire.
Claire Redfield from, or do you just mean Alice,
no,
like
Claire
Mila
Redfield
Jovovich?
no, it's not Claire. Who the hell is that? Claire Redfield, She's the one. She is in Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
Or 3. She might
Valentine?
be from Resident. Yes.
Jill Valentine?
Jill Valentine. That is who I was trying to get around to. I feel like I could do a pretty okay Jill Valentine cosplay.
Yeah, I bet you could.
Wait, that's not her. Is that? That's not who I'm. Yes, it is. It is. Especially in the redesign where she's not wearing a tube top anymore because I can't wear tube tops. Some people have too much for the tube top and it does not work. But a Henley tank top seems pretty okay.
Yeah,
Plus,
pull it
do
off
you
for sure.
got any guns
I mean,
that I can use for my cosplay?
No, I mean, I had an old like BB gun or pellet
Well, that
rifle,
might work.
but like
Maybe I'll
that
just
might
use the
work. You can
Splatoon
use the Splatoon gun. Yeah, just go with that one.
Oh boy, yeah.
So you're saying you like to be Jill Valentine for the episode
Did
or
you
just
see
for
it?
the stream?
It almost escaped.
Again.
Again,
You got lucky that one day.
That was a close call.
That was a close call. But hey, a lot of close calls, a lot of great games to be talked about
Yeah.
here at Team Chat Podcast, a video game show. And you can listen to a new episode every Thursday on podcast services around the World Wide Web, as well as watch a video version of each episode right here or over here on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below. You can find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Join our Discord server. And if you'd like to help make the show bigger and better, you can do that as well by going over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, just like some really cool folks. You know what their names are? Well, I'll tell you. Guess what?
Nice work, Jared.
Super Saiyan Ace, Elise F, Zach S, Mariah S, Susan N, James K, Michael B, Andrew M, Michael S, and Brandon W have done. They've headed over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, whereas for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And in return, we give you cool perks like getting early access to the episodes before the general Thursday release and access to a private channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery, as well as a lot of extra goodies and tidbits along the way. But if you can't do that, that's no big deal. We totally understand. Money's tough right now. It's a recession. Something like that's going on right now. But and there are plenty of free ways to support the show, such as writing us a review, liking and subscribing wherever you're listening to or watching the show, and, telling your friends. All that goes a long way to make the show of Team Chat Podcast bigger and better. And for that, we are eternally grateful for each and every one of our viewers, patrons, and listeners alike. Hearts emoji.
I almost missed it. I kind of wasn't ready.
You kind of
that time.
phased out that time. You weren't
listening. I was
listening.
spacing out looking at one of your screens because I was
yeah?
trying to figure out what's in the background there. I see now that it's Call of Duty, but I was just like, who are these people?
Season 3, yeah, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 right now.
I don't know how many seasons there should be. So.
I'm not really paying attention to that myself. I'm literally in Call of Duty right now. I just play the multiplayer every once in a while. I jumped on for a couple quick free-for-all matches before we jumped on to record.
I'm not sure if it's I assume that it's that one because that's probably the most current Call of Duty.
Most recent one, yeah.
Is that the one that has like DMZ mode or something like that?
Yes.
Did you see all the controversy with the new paid skins that they're doing?
No.
So they're coming out with some new skins specifically for DMZ mode. I think there's 2 of them, like thorns or rose thorns or something like that, and like a bomb squad and a bomb squad skin. So they are cosmetics, but they also do actually give in-game perks to players. So it's basically pay to win.
Okay, what the hell?
They're bringing pay to win back in.
What the hell? Come on now.
So the Bomb Squad one specifically has the benefit of when you die in DMZ mode and respawn, you don't get the setback of having your backpack return to the smallest size. So you always have that permanent buff of having more storage capacity.
Okay, that is bullshit.
So yeah.
I mean, granted, it's only one skin to this one specific mode.
I don't know what the Rose Thorns one does. I feel like it gives you a specific weapon or something.
But
I don't know enough about Call of Duty.
Those skins are like $20 a pop.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if they're comparable to Apex skins, which are like $18-20 a pop. So it's like, if you're doing that, like, come on. Like that's ridiculous. Like we've gone through this road of microtransaction bullshit before.
Don't buy it, people.
We
Don't buy into the pay to win.
We rode the roller coaster of microtransactions where it was fucking terrible around Star Wars Battlefront 2. You know, the pride of accomplishment. They gave us that wonderful line about it there, and everyone said nay. We revolted, and look what they did. Everybody was like,
and now they're
sorry.
trying to bring it back.
And now here they go.
That's why I'm bringing it up, and that's the only reson I'm bringing it up is because I heard about this, and I was like,
that
no, we have to revolt again. So if you play Call of Duty, don't buy those pay to win skins.
I'll be honest too. There was a little bit of that way back when in the Last of Us multiplayer. Actually, you could buy like extra weapon packs and stuff like that, which were just like different weapons, ones that you like base game player
couldn't get.
Not like a blueprint variation of a different weapon that you already had, but legit new weapons.
That's bad.
And there was a little bit of an uproar about that,
as there should have been.
But again, little smidge of a pass because that was 2013 microtransactions land. We've weathered a few storms since then, but still, it's bullshit.
The point is the storm's coming back, so make sure that you all stand strong and don't buy into those pay-to-win skins. Yeah, batten down the hatches. Make sure that they don't make enough money off of it for it to be something that they reintroduce en masse again.
Right.
So yeah,
no good.
Call of Duty What does the DMZ even stand for?
Demilitarized zone, I think. I think it's like a thing. A game mode where you can go in akin to like the Escape from Tarkov's or like the extraction shooters.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Where you're like trying to get in, get something, and get out.
Get loot and then and then get some stuff out. So that's why the backpack size thing. Obviously, the more stuff you can carry out, the better rewards you get at the end.
I do actually have a question about it because I wasn't paying enough attention in my research, or maybe they didn't mention it. Is DMZ mode player versus player or PvE?
A little bit of both.
Oh, but you do play against other players.
Yes.
Okay, so that is still pay to win. So that's bad.
Yep. Still there. Still counts.
Super no bueno.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all.
God, Activision, back at it again.
Right? I know. Yeah.
First, they come up with the Overwatch 2's horrible battle pass.
Yeah, that's not great. Still
and now
not
they're
great,
coming
right?
back out with these, and they're embroiled in yet another sexual harassment lawsuit that they kind of tried to gloss over with the release of the pansexual Overwatch character, and it's like, we saw that other shit too.
We see through this.
Yeah, God, Activision Blizzard, fuck those guys. Right?
Well, and like apparently, the whole thing too, like the deal with Microsoft buying them out is still being reviewed. So like that's still not made any headway, and that was like the thing
that prompted them to actually start looking into all this shit?
Well, not even, kind of, but it was also kind of the hope that like Xbox would come in and kind of clean house.
Oh, right.
It was known that Bobby Kotick was going to stick around until like through the acquisition, and then I believe they said there was a time period after he would stay, but then like it was assumed he was going to go.
But
like, or that's what everybody was thinking. And like this could be the chance to like kind of clean house and everything, but it's still being in review and everything because there are legitimate concerns of some like, monopoly things coming up in different part like that, as all these big industry players in the video gaming space keep like buying up and getting merged and acquired and stuff like that. So
I just don't like any of it, Jared.
I know. It's not great. It's not great.
This is why I play indie games.
I know. But you know what? Indie games are great. And actually a great side thing that all games do have, which is what we're here to talk about today, is the wonderful world of when, you know what, Mogan, let me just paint a little picture here for you. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Didn't mean to kick your foot there.
Don't worry, I've got my mom's Birkenstocks on, so their extra size protects my feet.
So you're going through this video game. You've been playing it a long time.
Right.
And this could be, any kind of game. We're going to paint a picture of a big open world game right now. You've gone through, you've
Wait, let me
completed
close my eyes.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I'm ready.
While I don't think there are any in these games, there could be. Imagine you're just traversing the plains of Hyrule.
Right.
As
one does.
Got your music playing in your ear, the little piano ditties. Oh, what's that? Is that a guardian? No,
Right?
it's not.
Oh,
but you're
God.
safe.
Okay,
You made
okay.
it to an inn. A small bit of respite is ahead of you.
Okay.
And you decide, you know what? I want to take a break from this, and I want to enjoy this small tavern game that's set up next to me. You open your eyes. You're in The Witcher 3. You're playing Gwent. And
The way that you delivered that reminds me of those Old Spice commercials.
oh yeah, open your eyes. Look at him. Then back to me. Then back to your man. Then back to me.
Start in Hyrule, end up in The Witcher. Wow, I just got
good. You're
baited.
awake.
I've been catfished.
And here you are playing Gwent, a mini game inside a massive game that took off and became incredibly popular, which has led us around to today's topic of some of our favorite mini games in video games.
So Jarrett suggested this over the weekend because we were honestly like, shit, what are we going to talk about next time? Because we were both kind of blanking on it. We're sort of between reviews right now.
Yep.
Like, big stuff's coming out. We just covered big stuff. So we're like, okay, what do we do in the middle? And Jarrett just bangs out this, we've never talked about mini games.
How have we never done this?
How have we never done this one?
I don't know.
I kind of thought that we were out of listicle fodder, but no.
I know,
they're
right? We
still
had
out
kind of
there.
got off the list for a little bit.
Because after you
but here we
suggested it, I
go.
was like, oh my God, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Because as a strong, lifelong player of the Nancy Drew games, those games are full of equal parts puzzles and bullshit mini games.
Oh, absolutely.
Incredibly, none of them made my list, but I was just like, oh man, I've got at least 30 games to draw from on Nancy Drew alone, to say nothing of the 3 that I actually picked.
Ooh.
But because this was your idea, why don't you start us off?
Well, funny thing, as I painted that picture for you to enter us into this topic, I realized Gwent wasn't on my list. But that is because outside of the few hands of it that I have played within The Witcher, and I will say it's awesome that it took off to the extent that it did. And like now people have built there are real world decks, it's a big thing. It has its own now standalone game.
That's what I was going to say.
Akin to like the Magic the Gathering battle arena or what's the Blizzard one? Hearthstone.
I
just
think
like
Hearthstone got killed off finally.
Did
Didn't
it?
At least on mobile.
Oh.
Like I think they got rid of Hearthstone
But it
on
might still be
mobile.
on the PC launcher and
Maybe.
stuff?
But I might, all this to say, I was going to say that Gwent should be disqualified anyways because it got its own game. So it's no longer a mini game.
So it's no longer a mini game. It's its own game. So there, I thought about that. I knew
Good
that.
job, Jarrett.
And that's why I picked instead.
Your subconscious thought of it for you.
But in the same vein of like a medieval tavern game, what actually brought around this this topic was that I was finally opening my game here that I got here from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Orlog.
I can't believe you didn't have it showcase ready.
I should have.
We have to move Trevor and Father.
But this game was actually one. It's fun because it was an actual like Norse game that the Vikings would play. But in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, when you come across a town, city, tavern, what have you, there would be various places where you could challenge a player to a game of Orlog, which it is a dice-based game. I actually did bring because it was. I'm sitting on it.
Wow.
Because it was going to be a little easier to like explain it what the instructions were. I got the instructions.
It came with a booklet. Oh,
from the game.
Oh, it's very small.
It's very small, very easy game. Because it's a dice-based game. I almost couldn't talk about. I decided between. I can't talk. I was trying to decide between this game and Knucklebones.
I took Knucklebones off my list because I thought you were going to talk about it.
Damn it, we should have talked about
we can still mention it in
Knucklebones.
passing because it's very short.
Very fun, but also a dice-based mini game. So I was trying to decide between these, but because this is the one that gave me the idea, that's where I went with it. But anyway, in Orlog, 2 players, you each have 6 die, and the whole point is you're trying to deplete your opponent's life, which is counted in these little stones, 15 stones that you all have. You, throughout the course of gameplay, will earn God Favor tokens, which you can then use to spend to play God Favors, which you earn in Valhalla, you would earn that by you beat a player, they'll give you a new god token to use in later matches and stuff like that. And they'll do things like count, because the whole thing of this game is that you'll roll the die a few times. I want to say like each player maybe rolls like 3 times, and you pick the die out of the round of the rolling cup. I cannot think of the right words right now.
The Yahtzee cup?
Yes. When it comes out, you roll the die, you see the symbols that there are, and there are the symbols on these are an axe, a helmet, an arrow, a shield, and a hand. And so what happens is if you get you can then pick after your roll as many of those as you want. Some of those will also be highlighted, have a highlighted box around them. And if you do that, that means you will get a God favor token if you choose to keep that die.
Okay.
And so then after you roll and pick the die that you want to play with, your opponent will do the same thing. Then, so like if you played an axe and they play shields, then the axe will be blocked by the shield. Helmet. If the arrow will be blocked by a shield. Oh. So anything any damage that's not accounted for or blocked by the opponent's roll will then do damage, take away the life stones.
Okay.
But then to augment your turn based on various things, you can play a god token, which will then either grant a thing like all axes count for 2 or something like that. So it still like does this, or doubles damage done, something like that, depending on the different god tokens and everything that you can use. So as you would progress through the game, you would go through, be able to accumulate, I think there are like 12 or so or more god favor tokens that you can get, because there's a lot of places to play Orlog.
So in the context of Assassin's Creed itself, you get god tokens by doing stuff in the world itself?
No, by beating other Orlog players.
I see.
There are some that like you can go back to a town and replay an old Orlog match that you play, but if you go and defeat a new opponent, they will give you a god favor token. Kind of like in The Witcher 3, you could buy new Gwent cards or get Gwent cards from defeated opponents.
Now, theoretically speaking, is it possible to defeat all of the available players without the god tokens? Like if you...
Yeah, you can choose to use them.
Yeah, let's say that you got to the very end of the game and you hadn't beaten any of the other people and you were like, oh, well, I'll fight this guy, and you had none of the other god tokens. It would theoretically be possible to beat them.
Yes.
It's just probably way easier with the god tokens.
Yeah, because I don't think they're tied to like a difficulty or a requirement and level cap. I mean, it may be just due to your natural progression through the game and discovery of the world, but nothing like, I think, that if you went to like somebody in the far corner of the world from where you were and played them in Orlog, I think you should be able to play them all right.
Okay, so it's not like they'll tell you, oh, like you haven't beaten enough of them. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of games with that type of minigame kind of do level lock it. Even though it's not tied to your level as a character, they won't let you play against them if they're considered like hard or super hard. You have to have beaten the previous people.
Right.
So I like that they didn't do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. there's really not a lot to it.
Booklet.
And so, yeah, maybe we'll have to like bust it open one day.
We should play a game of this.
Yeah, we should. I've been meaning to. I've had the game.
Fun.
I've honestly had it for like close to a year.
Appropriate for ages 8 and up, so even your child Vikings can play this.
That's good. That's
good.
Oh,
and
good
it's
family game.
Exclusively a 2-player game.
It is indeed.
Only 15 to 20 minutes. We have time for that.
Yeah, it's very quick.
Oh, the tokens are neat.
Yeah, it looks really cool. They're cardboard in this, but like they obviously are supposed to look like wood carved figures.
They look like wood or metal.
Yeah.
What are the
or wood whittled?
Oh, the dice are hard plastic. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not like authentic materials.
But dude, I bet you $20 you can go onto Etsy and find people that are making stainless steel, but hard iron dice like all through and through. This I love games that like have physical stuff.
I know that's why I like this so much,
fun.
because it was cool, because it's like not only is it an actual real game, it was cool to get to experience it a little bit through the game in the game world itself, but then it was also very fun to get to pull it out, and not very fun, but will be fun.
Yeah.
Whenever I finally play it. That's why I pulled it out this weekend. I was like, I need to finally get it ready for whenever I'm ready to play it. We're ready to play it.
This would also be, because it's only one-on-one, it'd be a good game to play like with friends in a tournament style.
Oh, yeah.
Like have one person knock the other one out.
Would.
So just for everybody else's information at home, because I think this is pretty neat. I'm not sure if this is how it is in the game itself, but the physical game gives you 3 different rules or ways to play that are called beginner, casual, and expert. So it like changes the rules slightly.
I guess
on the back.
Would be the only skill in the game.
Yeah, okay.
In the video game version, you could place a bet on the game. So that might make it harder the bigger the bet you play.
Okay, but I do like this. I like that it gives you different sort of rule sets depending on how vicious you want to play.
Yeah.
Or how well you know how to play. I like that a lot.
It's a fun time in the game.
Good choice.
We do need to play the game itself at some point.
Yeah.
But what is your first minigame selection?
So I guess I'll start with one that I think. So obviously I was going to talk about Knucklebones, but I think we've already talked pretty.
We talked about it in
length
the Cult of the Lamb review
so
and stuff.
Just casual shout out to Knucklebones from Cult of the Lamb. Super fun minigame.
yeah.
The track that plays when you're playing
good.
it,
So
so
good.
good. Everybody loves that track. Boom. Everybody loves that track. So this is so not important. But a quick aside, you know how I've talked about how I love the way that Plimbo talks in
Yes.
Cult of the Lamb? I realized why I love Partitio so much in 2 Octo 2 Path. He sounds like if Plimbo actually talked in real
that's
words.
fun.
Like take Plimbo's garbled nonsense accent and apply it to a human speaking English, and that's Partitio. And it's like, yeah. I love everything
Nice.
about this. So every time he talks, I'm like, Plimbo.
It's you, my long lost friend.
My buddy. That's neither here nor there. The other game that I'm talking about that I feel like you also might have some opinions on, Machine Strike from Horizon Forbidden West.
You know what?
Did you not play much?
I never played it.
Wow.
For whatever
Lee,
reason,
I thought this was going to be co-op.
I'm sorry. That would have been a safe
jerk.
assumption, but no. I, for whatever reason, was just
Incredible.
never. Whenever it came up in the game, I was just never like. I was always just like, I don't feel like learning a new game right now.
Oh, well, that's
I don't know why.
You know what? That's understandable. Horizon already had so fucking much going on.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with not wanting to engage in its built-in Gwent-esque minigame.
I'm sure I played like I had to go. They make you go through a tutorial or something maybe in the
there
beginning
may
in
have
Chain
been
Scrape.
one there was one in Chain Scrape
Okay.
where I think you had to talk to that lady to
Yeah,
do something.
I think you played Petra or whatever.
Yeah,
but I never did anything else
That's
with it
fine.
outside of
All
that. I
understandable.
really don't
and
even
fine.
remember what you do.
So, quick question, and this was just something I didn't know. Was Machine Strike in Horizon Zero Dawn?
Nope.
No, really? It was a forbidden, because in my notes, I even just put parentheses Horizon, because I was like, well, surely it is in both.
No, it's not.
Okay,
it was only
wrong.
in Zero Dawn.
So Horizon Forbidden West exclusive,
I mean,
now that I
Forbidden
know,
West.
Machine Strike. The way that I can describe Machine Strike most easily is imagine loose chess,
Okay.
but with the context of machines from the Horizon series. So all of your little pieces are like very ornately carved wooden pieces to imitate the machines that are out in the wilds. So you've got like the burrowers, the bird, looks like a fucking ostrich. I don't know what they're called. They're
wow, no,
they're
I'm
called
blanking too.
something. Yeah, the burrowers,
Chicken
the thingies,
boys.
the chicken boys, the hippo ones, the something maws.
Yeah,
crunch
snap
maws,
maws.
snap maws. There
Yeah.
we go, snap maws. The thunderjaw, all those parts. They're all not all. I don't think every machine has an equivalent piece in Machine Strike, but there are different pieces that you can find throughout the world, either by, you know what, this is a bad explanation. I'm going to back up a couple of steps. Machine Strike. What is it? What are you doing? So Machine Strike is a basically strategy board game where you play against one other player and you each have a set of, I want to say 6-ish pieces on your board, and you can choose which ones you want to bring to the table, literally. So you've also got the inclusions of high ground and low ground, so terrain actually makes a difference in this game. Represented on the board, it's like literally platforms that will be a little bit higher or lower than others. And then there will also be sections that kind of look like they might be grasslands. I think some sections that look like water, sections that look like mountains. And depending on both the pieces you play and the terrain you play them on, those pieces are able to do specific things. So, for example, the most basic character token, the most basic token of the burrower, I think the burrower's function is just that it can move forward too. I think that's all it can.
Everything else just moves one space.
Yeah, it can move like forward to, or they can usually move dimensionally, so they can move forward, back, or to the right or left. I think most pieces can't necessarily move diagonally. I feel like that might be a thing that is specific to certain pieces. But for example, like the bird characters, which, you know, in theory they can fly. So if they jump down from a higher platform to another one and land on a spot that would allow them to do damage, they deal more damage that way. Actually, one of the best comparisons I can make between Machine Strike and other games that people might know are any tactical RPG, waifu bait game that everybody loves. JRPG, Three Houses, Fire Emblem. There we go. I was like, I know if I just say enough words, I'll get to it eventually. Like Fire Emblem or even a Triangle Strategy. So from our old friends at Two Path to Octo. Triangle Strategy is a great example of that, where both terrain and the pieces on the board themselves are able to do different things depending on where you place them.
Sure.
So the goal, obviously, is to knock out the other person's pieces. Basically, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get rid of the other person's pieces before they get rid of yours. And each token has its own attack power and I think HP. So you have to be really strategic with how you deploy them and what they're going up against, because you can go, one-on-one with somebody at a tavern, for lack of a better word, and get just absolutely demolished. And you're like, well, shit, I see that I had the wrong strategy here. But then you can come back with a different arrangement of pieces, maybe just try a different strategy, place your pieces differently on the board, and see how that does you better next time. It's really quite complicated. It
seems a little harder than Orlog.
It is harder than Orlog, but I would say that it's pretty beginner friendly.
Okay.
I think it does, however, get quite complicated later down the line with the different types of pieces that your opponents can play, and if you haven't been keeping up with the curve, unlike Orlog, where it sounds like it's pretty accessible even as you make your way further into the world, I feel like in Horizon Forbidden West, that's not the case. There are specific places around the world of Horizon that you can find people in, usually cities. They're in cities or towns. And you can find somebody to play against. There's usually one person in every major outpost that will desire to play Machine Strike against you. Playing against those people sometimes gets you new pieces. Like I think the woman that you play at the very beginning gives you a new piece after you beat her. I cannot confirm if all of them do that because I didn't play against all of them. You can.
Okay.
So here's the other thing, is that even though you hunting grounds, so frequently at hunting grounds in Horizon, before you actually go into the hunting ground proper, there might be a little merchant outside that's carving Machine Strike pieces.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you don't go to all of the hunting grounds, you might easily miss new Machine Strike pieces from the one vendor that's selling specifically the snap maws. And it's like, oh, okay, should have gone and found you earlier. So they're in specific places. They're not very prolific. I want to say that I maybe only saw 4 vendors themselves, but I didn't do everything.
Could you buy multiple pieces?
Yes.
Okay.
I think different vendors would sell more than one piece.
Okay.
I don't exactly remember. Like I said, I didn't get all of them.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't even
play
it.
No, yeah. I did play it. I played a couple of different people just kind of all around, and I definitely had fun. I also got my ass handed to me multiple times.
Happens.
So it is the kind of game where you have to actually be there to play Machine Strike, you know? Like, it's not the kind of thing where you engage in a game of Machine Strike and be like, I'll be out of here in 10 minutes. It's probably going to take a little bit longer.
See, that's why I never wanted to do it. There was so much to Horizon already for me to do.
There was so much to think about. It was a very strategic game.
Yeah.
I can understand how for many people it was not their cup of tea, but I feel like it did a great job of offering a very different sort of break from the rest of Horizon. Because all of the other stuff that you could do in Horizon was obviously out and about in the world and always involved combat or exploration. You know, the different, what are they called? The pits, the different pit masters that you can fight. It's obviously all about combat. Fighting all of the different monsters in side quests and side stories, that could take thousands of hours all on its own. Whereas Machine Strike was like, no, it's a totally separate thing. It's a legitimate break from the rest of the game, which I feel like is the function of a good mini game.
Yeah.
It gives you its own separate thing to focus on. There's no real effect on the game itself, because winning at Machine Strike, I mean, it might get you trophies, but that doesn't mean Aloy is better in the final. What if you got to the final boss and you had to defeat the final boss in a game of Machine Strike?
I would have got there and been like, oh no.
Oh no. They just throw you this brand new curve and they're like, but yes.
Handle this.
You thought you needed all of that legendary equipment and armor, but you actually needed to be playing Machine Strike the whole time.
What a
that
twist.
would be such a fantastic twist, and what a real FU to all the players.
I would have been pissed.
Not the case. Man, I have ideas.
It's like you need a level 3 Thunderjaw token to win this one. It's like, well,
like,
God damn it.
I don't have that. I just
50-hour grind later, I'm back.
I'm back. I've got the walkthrough on YouTube. I know exactly which moves to make. It really did feel like
Checkmate,
that.
jackass.
God, that would have been so funny.
Would have been. And then it's like, well, you have beat me fair and square. Handshake to deal.
Handshake, and then they just leave.
They just leave.
Oh my God, that would be a fantastic ending to the game. And
my
Aloy's
God.
like, so the real victory were the friends we made all along the way. Oh, fantastic. No.
So
So
good.
Machine Strike is totally non-effectual on the rest of the game, which I feel like is the perfect minigame.
Yep.
Just give you a nice, fun distraction to do on the side. I feel like Machine Strike actually would make or that type of minigame would feel so in place in the world of Monster Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, that's a one for
Kinda
one,
surprised it
dude.
doesn't have one.
Capcom, steal that idea. Just swoop in and be there like, whoa, well, it's Monster Chest. It's different. It's definitely not Machine Strike.
Monster chess.
They would totally just call it Monster Chest. Monster Chest. Monster Chest. Jesus.
I passed it off to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Machine Strike, don't ask me to play against you because I can't. I will lose, but it's a really well-designed game. It definitely should be a real physical game. Like, dude, come out with real Machine Strike.
Well, there's an actual Horizon board game, right?
But
There's
is
a
it Machine
Kickstarter.
Strike?
No, it's not Machine
That's
Strike.
what I'm saying.
But I want to play it too.
But man, how high? Like, I'm sure there's some craftsperson out there that's like, yeah, they gave you the rules in the game. I'm just
should
going to
check.
carve my own pieces
Yeah.
and sell it on Etsy or wherever. There's definitely somebody out there illegally making that game, and good for you. You shouldn't have to legally
that money.
license it. Yeah, you make that money. But yeah, Machine Strike is awesome. Some people probably hate it, but I had a lot of fun with it for the time that I did spend with it.
Nice. Very fun. I do like that. It's a good choice. It's fun that our first choices were these games that really did offer that big respite in the middle of all this exploring and adventure and action that was going on in these big open world games, which is the perfect segue into my second pick.
Can I
for
guess
this
what it
topic.
is?
Sure.
Do you think I can guess it?
There's a chance.
Is it from one of the Star Wars games?
No.
Oh, damn. I thought I was really onto something. Fuck. That
It's
was
a
kind of my
complicated
only
one,
idea.
It's going to take us a few minutes. You got a few minutes?
I feel like, is this going to be from like Total War Rome or something like that?
No.
Shit. Stronghold?
No, it's even more complicated.
Really?
It's a toughie one.
Is it actually, or are you bullshit?
I'm bullshitting.
Okay.
It's like the simplest fucking mini game
Oh.
ever.
Fishing.
No.
Damn.
I fucking hate fishing in video games. It's not a mini game.
I love fishing in
No,
video games.
Getting
Okay,
like
never mind.
Far Cry 5 and 6 shit, fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, miss me with that fishing shit. It drives me fucking crazy.
I love fishing in video games.
Oh my
I
God,
think it's
no,
the
it drives
best
me
waste
nuts.
of time. Anyways, I'm never going to guess it. Go ahead.
Slap-a-razzi from Mario Party.
Oh, I love Slap-a-razzi.
It's super hard. I hope everybody can follow the
Yes.
rules of the game here. But basically, you and your opponents are in a ring. Outside this ring is a Koopa with a camera. Not our good friend Lakitu. It is just a normal run-of-the-mill
normie
Koopa who's there to take your picture. And you know what? You got to get the best photo you can.
I love
So all
that.
of you are rushing for the camera because they'll just appear at different parts, different sides of this ring. You and all your opponents are trying to rush and get in front to be the one in, getting the clearest and best picture of you. But to get your opponents out of the way, you get to slap them. You just get
It's the
to
best.
straight up, just hard, open palm slap across the face.
You just got to bitch slap those. I totally get why you picked this one.
It's fun.
It's a
funny.
top tier mini
like,
game.
It's a lot of the Mario Party ones are you're doing some activity like find a coin, dodging obstacles, shooting something to knock a block castle apart, different things like that, making pies. You're just doing all this different stuff in Mario Party. But no, the pure unadulterated joy of getting to slap your opponents across the face.
Hilarious.
And then the pictures that you get taken are always good too, because you always get caught in some crazy making some face, like Donkey Kong's back there getting the absolute
shit kicked
out of his face, but everybody else is just smiling and having a
Yeah,
great time.
fantastic.
And so there's really not much else to say about it other than that. I think it's like 5-6 rounds of pictures you have to go through.
slapping.
A lot of slapping action
Wow,
happening.
slapping. And we should mention that you get points based on how prominent you are in the photo.
Right, so that's why it's
not
it's
like a
really
one or
important.
none.
Yeah.
It's like you can get 4 points for being the most, and then 3, 2, and or maybe it's like 3, 2, 1, and 0.
Yeah, no,
Because
0
if you're
for
the
the
least
fourth.
visible, you don't get any points.
But yeah, so it's just fun. It's stupid. It's fun.
Slap-a-razzi rules. So since we're on,
But it never comes up.
it doesn't.
It
Which
is
game
once in a blue moon.
Slap-a-razzi from?
It's not on the one we played it on. I think it's in the All Stars one.
It's in All Stars, but what's
I don't
it
remember the
originally
OG
from?
game. Maybe the one before it, the
Slap-a-razzi.
one that doesn't have online, just Super Mario Party.
Yeah, the one that unfortunately was bad.
Yeah.
Slap-a-razzi. Slap-a-razzi is a 4-player. Appearing in Super Mario Party. Yeah.
Oh, so it was originally out of that one.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, Super Mario Party gave us one gift, and that was Slap-a-razzi.
So actually, it gave us 2 gifts.
Oh, what was the
because
other one?
Because you brought up Slap-a-razzi, I also wanted to give a shout out to the one other incredible, notable mini game that came out of Super Mario Party: the Meat Cube Flipper.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one's hard.
It's not called Meat Cube Flipper for anybody at home. That's the function. I think it's called like
Top Chef Meat Cube Flipper.
It's called like Top Chef Raising the Stakes or something like that.
I think it is Raising the Stakes.
It's Stakes something. I think
Yeah.
it's Raising the Stakes. So using the power of the Joy-Cons, because this was the first Mario Party that came out for the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
and it incredibly didn't have true online mode, which is the just
I forgot about
baffling.
that, and we tried to get online and
Baffling.
play with some friends. I now have the All Stars one.
Yeah.
That can play online, the
Yeah,
superior
the
version.
real
But
one.
yeah, like we got cut out of the game
Yeah.
night the other day. It was
Anyways, so
disappointing.
the bad Mario Party had the one good game of Meat Cube Flipper, which is everybody has like a little frying pan,
Mm-hmm.
and you start with a literal cube of meat,
Yeah.
which I gather is supposed to be an artisanally cut steak.
It's Wagyu.
And then the goal is that you have to use the Joy-Con functionality to literally shake and flip your pan to flip the meat cube to all of its different sides to perfectly brown each side. And the one who manages to sear each of their sides first wins.
Nice.
That's all there is to
Genius.
it, but it is so fun. It is like the level of fun and stupid with the use of the Joy-Con motion controls that
It
just
gets out of
sends it
hand
over
quick.
the top for me. I
Yeah.
love Meat Cube Flipper.
It's great. So yeah, I didn't really have anything else on that one. It's just a stupid fun good time.
Awesome.
So Slap-a-razzi is my second pick.
Yeah. My second pick, and this is something that I've vaguely touched on before, but we've never really gotten to go in depth about. I'm bringing up a classic, the T-Set minigame from Professor Layton and the
I have no idea what
Diabolical
this is.
Box. I think I've mentioned it once before when we talked about the Professor Layton games. During our letters, our ABCs of gaming.
Oh, yes.
I think my P was Professor Layton, and I think I mentioned some of the mini games that Professor Layton has given us over the years, which is a lot of them. The Professor Layton games always have at least one, usually 2, sometimes 3 built-in mini games that are always very fun. Like, this is like no miss content. Like, people that play the Layton games don't boot up the game and see the mini games and go, nah.
Pass.
No, everybody's like, fuck yeah, new Professor Layton minigame. One of them was you had to puzzle out how to get a bunny rabbit to properly act out plays in the right order. So cute. It was like a real life bunny that Luke like found, and he was like, ah yes, Professor, we will train him to act. It's like, okay.
Sure.
Weird, but all right, you go for it, Luke. Another one was you had this parrot, and you would have to guide it through levels from like point A to point B by drawing lines in specific ways that it would be able to land and bounce along them to get to the end. But you had specific fixed points, so you had to draw your lines very carefully to make sure that it would actually get to the end. I actually never finished all the levels of Parrot Line Flipper. I don't know what it's called. But because it was fucking hard as shit.
Yeah.
But in Professor Layton 2, Diabolical Box, the T-Chest minigame is arguably my favorite. So pretty early on in Professor Layton 2, you have like some random woman on the street who gives you a puzzle. Obviously, you solve the puzzle, as one does in Professor Layton. When you solve her puzzle, she gives you as an extra little bonus reward a T-set, like in a cool little briefcase. It's kind of
Nice.
like a, you know those really fancy picnic sets?
Yes.
It's like that, but in a sweet briefcase.
Very cool.
So you crack open this briefcase, and it's full of tea ingredients, and like your cup and your steeping pot, teapot, and your teapot. And the goal is to go around the rest of the world and find citizens in dire straits. They're literally on the pavement, perishing of thirst.
Oh, no.
Those people need their tea. so you have to make tea for them, dependent upon what their desire is. So each of the ingredients that you get in the game has different properties associated with its flavor profile.
Yeah.
And based on what the person tells you, you have to concoct the perfect brew for them. When you initially get the tea set, I think you start out with a default 3 ingredients, and they're definitely not real ingredients. They're like fun, awesome, not real stuff that sound incredible.
Yeah.
One of them looks like a dried seahorse. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be, but it looks like
Okay.
a dried seahorse. So you've got 3 ingredients to start with, and you can combine them in different ways to create new brews. There are a possible 12 brews that you can make, and a total of 26 different townsfolk that you can find to give tea to. Now, the bonus 2 that some people might miss are Luke and Layton themselves. So you can make special Luke's brew and Layton's brew, and if you also find the other 24 people out and about to make tea for them, you get a final reward. If you complete the tea chest minigame and everybody gets their perfect brew of tea, then you actually unlock Professor Layton's Tea Master's House. So each of the Layton games has basically a couple of different ways to get what would be considered bonus super puzzles.
Okay.
You know how JRPGs have the optional super boss?
Sure.
Layton has the super puzzles.
Yeah, and that phrase in and of itself is just, I'm never touching.
Dude, I don't think I finished any of them. I don't think I could solve a single one without looking it up. Those super puzzles are so hard. But if you finish the tea set minigame, you unlock the Tea Master's House, which gives you a bonus of 3 super puzzles. I don't think you really get anything if you beat the 3 super puzzles.
Just a sense of pride and accomplishment.
You get that actual sense of pride and accomplishment because no amount of money will buy you the solution to those puzzles. You just have to crawl to the internet with shame in your heart. The cost is your... What's it called? The cost...
Gamer cred?
No.
No? Cost is your soul?
No. What's the thing? Integrity! I couldn't even think of the word integrity. The cost is your own integrity. So you can obviously go look up the answers yourselves. But yeah, those puzzles are fucking hard as shit. I didn't finish any of the ones in the Tea Master's House, but I think I did finish all of the optional tea sets themselves. And then throughout the game, if you periodically open up the save screen, sometimes Luke and Layton's icons might actually have like little help symbols above them, which means help, they're in desperate need of tea. So you just get to optionally make them more tea, and it's like, what fun.
If you're gonna be solving puzzles and solving mysteries, you gotta have a sharp brain.
You gotta be
have
making
fresh
that
brewed
tea. Yeah. So it's a 10 out of 10 minigame. Of all of the ones in the Layton series, that one and the stupid bunny rabbit acting one are the 2 that really stuck with me. Mostly because the bunny was really cute, but I actually hated its minigame. Oh, the car!
What's
I
the car?
forgot about Luke's radio car. He gets like a toy car. And never mind. That's a separate thing. I completely forget how to play it, but the car game was awesome. Yeah, the point is, if you're into sick mini games, go pick up any of the Professor Layton games. You will undoubtedly unlock some silly bullshit that will be so fun to play on the side. That is unfortunately also puzzle-based. So it's not exactly a reprieve from the rest of the game. It's just a different kind of puzzle. You just get to turn on a slightly different cog in the brain to solve that particular kind of difficult puzzle.
Nice.
Yeah, Professor Layton.
Good pick.
Go play those minigames.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think you would like
sounds
them.
a little complex for my brain to handle.
Oh, that does make me think, though, when Professor Layton in the World of Steam eventually comes out on Switch.
That's the new one.
What mini games does the future hold?
What pleasures await?
I can't wait for that bunny rabbit to be back. I don't think it will be.
Because hopefully at this point he's a trained actor and classically.
Oh, I was going to say he has probably reached the lifespan of most bunny rabbits and has long since perished.
Well, that's true, but I was looking a little more hopeful for his future.
Yeah. He's probably made it to the big stage. You're right.
The big stage in the sky.
Stage in the sky. But that parrot's probably still alive. Parrots live for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyways. that's my bit.
All right. Well, for my number 1 pick of a favorite mini game, it's another one that I don't think you're going to be able to get. But there's really no way.
Is it from a Star Wars game?
It's not.
Damn it. Is it from one of the Lego games?
No.
Fuck.
I really don't think there's any way possible.
Give me a
get
hint.
This. It is a childhood game.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Is it an educational game?
You...
Is it Storybook Weaver,
No,
Jared?
it's not Storybook Weaver. Storybook Weaver, everyone, came up while we were playing games the other night, and wow, I forgot about that game.
Yeah, jeez.
So send us your favorite Storybook Weaver memories, everyone.
Yeah.
But no, so the game that I will be talking about for my number 1 is a minigame from the classic children's point-and-click adventure, Putt Putt Goes to the Moon.
Wow.
Yeah, from 1993.
Damn, dude. I never would have guessed.
No,
Putt,
I knew you
Putt
wouldn't.
Goes to the moon.
Putt Putt Goes to the Moon, everyone. If you're not familiar with this classic series from Humongous Entertainment, you are a purple convertible named Putt Putt who drives around town with your puppy Pap.
I recognize this art.
Yeah.
I've never played this game, but I recognize the image.
So, Humongous also did, I'm now completely blanking, Freddy Fish, Serious Sam? No, not Serious Sam. Pajama Sam. And then there was another one as a bear whose name I'm now blanking on.
It's probably
I can't
Boris
remember that
Bear
one.
or something like that,
No, it's
based
not
on
Boris
children's
Bear,
game
but
naming
anyway,
conventions.
I can't remember what it is. But in this one, you wind up accidentally being launched into outer space as Putt Putt, as what happens because your puppy dog chases something into a rocket ship that was being built nearby your house. Very,
God.
very, not safely. And so anyway, you wind up
SpaceX be out here
Exactly.
using taxpayer money.
and so you get launched up into space, and you're up on the moon, exploring, befriending the denizens who live there. Obviously, a bunch of aliens. And but then you go into a diner at this town, and next to the door in this diner is an arcade cabinet. And on this arcade cabinet, you can play a game called Bear Stormin.
Bear Storm.
Bear Stormin, like a bear.
Okay, like a true bear.
Stormin.
Not that you're naked and out in a storm.
No,
Okay,
no,
good.
You're just a bear who is a pilot and can fly a biplane. And so this game is just a side-scrolling, gauntlet run, obstacle avoiding
it's like
game.
Cuphead.
Yeah.
Where you're in the plane.
Yeah, it is kind of like
Wow.
that. Basically, where this is, though, is it's like literally just like scrolls from left to right. You're flying this plane. You can go up and down, and you have a fuel gauge. As the game goes, the fuel gauge runs out, obviously.
Right.
There are balloons that you have to pop that will refill your fuel gauge until you reach a certain distance, and then you're able to land and complete the level.
okay.
As the game goes on, more things get thrown at you. It's crazy, it gets wild. First, you're getting those balloons. You got to get those balloons. But then there start to be some trees. Then there's a rogue goose that flies at you, and you got to dodge it. Then there's a pig with a jetpack. Then after a while, some animals are floating through the air being held on the balloons that you have to then pop to be able to safely stay in the air.
Oh, God.
So it just gets... Again, very simple. That's really all it is. But for 5-year-old Jarrett sitting
I bet
around,
that shit slapped.
and after I had played Putt Putt Goes to the Moon base game maybe 30 plus times, becoming a master at Bear Stormin became my main goal.
Awesome.
And because obviously as you got deeper into it and the levels became harder and harder, the distance that you had to travel was greater. There were fewer balloons available for you to pop. They became harder to pop because they were like tied to animals, moving around a little bit more. But again, it was just one of those things. This was 1993. This game came out on MS-DOS originally, and
Incredible.
it's like they still within that. Which, granted, this game had content. Although I feel like you could probably beat it in an hour or less, maybe 20 minutes.
I mean,
if you really
it was
just
designed for
rush through.
5-year-olds.
Exactly. But still, in the midst of all of that, they still fit in this really, really fun minigame that when growing up, I was only allowed to play the computer in 30-minute chunks. I would spend my
Dude,
whole
me too.
really.
We had time limits on how much internet
You
we could
can't
use.
play a game in 30 minutes.
To be fair, it kind of was my fault because of my Neopets addiction.
Oh, okay. Well, see, you did that
my
to yourself.
bad, siblings.
Apparently, for our family, it was my civilization addiction. Crippling, I know.
Well,
but,
in your case, that's true.
but no, but I was still had to play these games within 30-minute time limits. You can't do a civilization game in 30-minute time.
You can't.
No, that's why I've beaten 2 games all in my whole life. But still, I would just sit there and play this game for the whole 30 minutes I could be on the computer that day, and just be sitting there, and it was a blast. Life was a blur in the pilot seat of this plane. It was great. So yeah, a completely random one, but
Bear
honestly,
Stormin.
when I was thinking of minigames, I was originally Orlog, sure, got that. Knucklebones. Did I talk about Knucklebones? Slap-a-razzi, sure. But then all of a sudden, I was reminded of the memory of just Bear Stormin. Came blasting to the front of my brain,
Bear
and
Stormin.
I had to talk about it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was
What
great.
a pull.
It was a good time.
What a deep pull.
That's why I was like, "There's no way you're going to be able to guess. Please don't even try."
You've said many times on this show that you weren't really a gamer until you were in college.
Yeah.
I contest that.
Well, okay, I was a gamer, sure, but my access and
was limited to those
library of
30-minute
games-
chunks of time.
The library of games was fairly limited. Yes.
Incredible. Well, my final number one, which if you know, you know. Only real ones will know.
I mean, I'm assuming it has to be an answer, Drew.
No, it's actually not.
I'm not a real one.
Honorable mention to Fox and Geese from Nancy Drew and the White Wolf of Icicle Creek. Very good. It's actually a really common type of board game puzzle. Like if you just look up Fox and Geese, it's a real puzzle. Like it's basically a strategy board game. I won't even say it's like checkers or Chinese checkers because it's not. It's awesome. Fox and Geese rules. It's also quite difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And even if you do know what you're doing, you can still fuck yourself up. So Fox and Geese from Nancy Drew and the White Wolf of Icicle Creek is awesome. But that's not what I'm here to talk about.
Okay.
It's from a different category of games that you might not usually associate with minigames. Oh. I'll give you a hint. We've been talking about it a lot in the Discord lately.
I'm drawn a blank.
Lots of sharing of videos, lots of hype.
Oh, is it Resident Evil 4?
No. Resident Evil 4 does have some stupid minigames, though.
I'm blanking.
Good question. It starts with a T.
T?
Involves a different type of slapping.
Oh, theater rhythm?
No.
Started with a T.
Tekken, fool.
Oh, Tekken.
Yes, Tekken. So I want to talk about Tekken's 2 greatest minigame modes, and there have been many in Tekken. Being a little bird. There have been many minigames over Tekken's lifespan. I think the one that Bro Mogan likes the best is called Tekken Force Mode, if I'm not mistaken, which is just straight up a knockoff of Streets of Rage.
I think I might. I don't.
What do you think I'm going to talk about? Because it's not Tekken Force Mode. There are actually 2.
Is it the bowling?
Yeah! I want to talk about...
I forgot about Tekken Bowling.
I want to talk about the 2 greatest mini games to ever hit any fighting game ever. Tekken Bowl Mode and Tekken Ball Mode. But we'll start with Tekken Bowl Mode, which I think... Okay, let me pull up my notes real quick. I had some notes about this because they're only available in very specific games. All right. Tekken Bowl Mode was introduced in the first Tekken Tag Tournament game and made reappearances in Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. I don't even fucking know what game that is. It's one of the spin-offs, I guess, because I never played Dark Resurrection.
Yeah.
And Tekken 7 as DLC content. So if you wanted Tekken Bowl for Tekken 7, unfortunately you had to pay for it, but good God, is it worth it? And then Tekken Ball Mode is featured in Tekken 3, and then later in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Wii U edition only.
Nice.
So if you played Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on any of the platforms it was available for, you got a lesser experience because the one specifically for the Wii U was incredible. We'll talk about why in a second, but Tekken Bowl Mode is just bowling. It's just bowling. You pick your characters because it was in... I'm not sure if this was true for Tekken... Yeah, because it came out first in Tekken Tag. So in Tekken Tag mode, you obviously... all games are with 2 people on your team.
Right.
So you pick 2 characters to play as, and each of them gets a turn bowling the ball. If the first person gets a strike, that's kind of... No, that's not game over. If the first person gets a strike, they do a cool, their victory move and their victory catchphrase. And then the other person also gets a chance to also do a strike. And it's just bowling. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's just... She's just being good.
She's loving it. We're letting her stick around today.
She's like also making like this gasping...
No, that's just her contented moan breathing. It's really...
It's very disconcerting.
Yeah. She enjoys being pet a little
She's
too
just
much.
very hype about Tekken Bowl Mode. So Tekken Bowl Mode, it's kind of like... any bowling game you've played in Wii Sports.
Yeah.
Because the concept is you bowl down the middle with, I think, like your direction. So you've got like a meter that bounces back and forth on the side very quickly. You have to hit the meter at the right time to either get it straight down the middle or to the sides. And then there's also a power meter. So how hard are you going to hit the ball? The fun thing about Tekken Ball Mode is that Tekken Bowl Mode is that if you hit it at max power, your character actually hangs onto the ball and like goes flying down the aisle themselves. And they smash into the pins, and it's a foul, which is the best thing ever. But the announcer does come on, and he says, great, and you, like, get a smash cut. He's like, great, and you get a smash cut of, like, your character crashing into the pins, which is a 10 out of 10. In Tekken 7, though, they really upped the ante, because in Tekken 7, different characters actually have ratings on what their power and their spin is. So, like, Lily, for example, my favorite character from Tekken 7, because she's an Ojo-sama, she drinks a lot of tea. Wow, all this tea coming up in today's episode. Her rating on, I think, her power is like a D, but her rating on spin is rated as an S+. I really cannot say how much those ratings on power and spin actually affect the gameplay because I'm not good enough to frankly know the difference.
Right.
But the other fun thing that I really love about Tekken Bowling is that you can change out the pins optionally to either be regular bowling pins or like gold trophies of Heihachi Mishima's head. So you can bowl straight down the middle and smash his brain to pieces. It's awesome. The songs that play during Tekken Bowl mode are phenomenal. I mean, obviously, every Tekken 7 level has a kick-ass soundtrack, but the soundtracks for Tekken Bowl are just more of what the people love, more of what the people deserve, frankly. So yeah, you just play bowling. You can play 1v1 in co-op mode, or I think maybe you can play online mode in the newer games. I don't think you could in the old games. I think it was just versus AI or versus co-op, couch co-op. But Tekken Ball mode.
Ball mode? I don't think I've heard you talk about this one at all.
Another story.
Could you say it's a whole other ball game?
Yes, you could. You could, my friend. So Tekken Ball mode originally introduced in Tekken 3, which I remember very vividly because Tekken 3 was the only Tekken game that featured the character of Gon, a literal dinosaur.
Okay.
And he's short. He's like a little small T-Rex with tiny boxing gloves on.
Hell yeah.
He's actually borrowed from his own game series, which is like Gon's fucking dinosaur adventures. I don't know what it's called.
Gone like the dinosaurs?
Yeah, kind of. I think that's where the pun in his name is supposed to come from. It's Gon. But Gon's level is like this beach level. So when I don't know what you have to do to unlock Tekken Ball mode, but when you get on Tekken Ball mode, it's on his beach level. So it's kind of like beach volleyball.
Oh, fun.
So it's two characters, side-scrolling type of view. It's not over the shoulder. It's just looking straight on at him. You have a ball that, literally functions kind of as like a bouncy, oversized volleyball, and you attack it like you do with your regular attacks.
Oh, that's fun.
But your attacks send it up and over the net. There actually isn't a net. It's just a line in the sand. You send it up and over the net to your opponent, and you each hit it like basically as hard as you can to power up the ball. And if you hit the ball hard enough, you can either get it over your opponent. So like if your opponent is too far back or they're too far forward and the ball gets into the sand and hits the ground, that's a point in your favor.
Nice.
The other alternative is if you hit the ball in such a way as to power it up to send it into flaming mode and the ball hits the other character and they don't block it, it does them physical damage.
Oh.
So the win condition is either that you get enough points by getting it into the sand, getting an out, or that you literally kill the opponent.
Incredible.
Which is hysterical. Tekken Ball mode is a classic. I don't know why it hasn't been in literally every game, but the absolute winner of everything is Tekken Tag Mode 2. Tekken Tag Tournament 2's ball mode from the special edition Wii U. Because, and I think we've talked about this song before, but I'm not sure we've ever been able to
we did.
play it on an episode.
An old soundtrack spotlight.
Oh, maybe we did.
I think we did a long time ago.
Because specifically for Sakura Schoolyard, which is one of the optional levels for Tekken Ball mode in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, features a brand new exclusive song called High School Love.
And it's good.
And it's the stupidest shit you've ever heard in your life. It is so dumb, but so incredible. You know how like Sonic gets ripped on all the time for its special genre of rock and roll that people have affectionately dubbed butt rock?
Yes.
Imagine that, but not quite. And you've got High School Love from Tekken Tag Tournament 2's Ball Mode on Sakura Schoolyard exclusively. So Tekken Ball Mode rules. It is such a dumb fun time. Tekken Bowl Mode rules. Everybody likes bowling.
Hell yeah.
Who wouldn't want to go bowling in a video game? So yeah, Tekken is literally knocking it out of the park with its various mini games, and I don't know why every other game hasn't blatantly stolen those modes.
Honestly, that I would never have expected Tekken to have a mini game in it. So it's incredible that the ones that it does have are so good.
Shout out to Tekken Force Mode. Like I said, it's a blatant Streets of Rage ripoff.
Yeah.
Bro Mogan loved that game. It was very hard. I never really played it because I sucked ass at it.
Yeah.
But it was really surprisingly surprisingly in depth. So for the people that know, they know. And if you're one of the cool kids, you're like, hell yeah, I remember Tekken ball mode, gone stage on the beach, getting them raised, getting swole while I play beach volleyball. All right, Birdie, we're almost done.
She's like, it is 40 minutes past my dinner time.
Father,
I am upset. Okay, Birdie, I'm finishing it up.
Okay, we're wrapping it up. So yeah, Tekken Ball and Tekken Bowl, 10 out of 10 video games for 10 out of 10 mini games in video games. That's what I was trying to say.
Very nice, very nice. Well, yeah, it's been fun to recount some of our favorite mini games that we have played throughout our video game time. To run through the list one more time, it was Orlog from Assassin's Creed Valhalla for me.
Machine Strike, Horizon Forbidden West.
And then Slap-a-razzi from Super Mario Party.
Shout out to Meat Cube Flipper from Super Mario Party. But more importantly, the T game, the T set game from Professor Layton 2.
T game. And then for my number one was Bear Stormin from Putt Putt Goes to the Moon.
The poll nobody saw coming. And then Tekken Bowl and Tekken Ball mode from various Tekken titles.
There you have it, folks. Well, as always, hit us up with your favorite mini games that you have played as well by commenting below wherever you're listening to or watching this, or jump over on our Discord, join us there, and talk about it with us. We would love to hear from you. Or you can also send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com. But with that, everybody, that wraps up this week's episode. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you all next time.